We already know some big changes coming in the next Clash of Clans update, but Town Hall 15 has been confirmed for 2022 and a builder base redesign for 2023. I find the word redesign really interesting, and I asked my subscribers on the community tab and on my Twitter page what you wanted to see for builder base. Even if it was redesigning the entire thing, I'm going to share with you the weirdest, most upvoted, as well as my thoughts and Town Hall 15 at the end of the video. But first, what are the big changes we know about the next update? Well, it is all to do with removal of extra barracks. This is the Barracks and Dark Barracks. Currently, we have 4 barracks and 2 dark barracks. Now we will only have 1 of each building. So essentially, you should stop upgrading all 4 barracks, just concentrate on 1 of them right now, because when the next update lands, your highest level barracks is the one you will keep. All of the others are erased. And that's good, because you don't have to utilize a builder on the other barracks, particularly when we have a Hannah Jam event and everything is 50% off. Use the time wisely, my friends. Why are they removing these though? Well, it's no secret that the Clash of Clans team are concerned about the 100 building limit. There is 100% in an attack, and if you were to have more than 100 buildings, then it would get a little bit messy, because if you take out a building, you might not get a percentage point. That could be a big deal in war. It actually makes a lot of sense though. Why do we have 4 barracks currently? A couple of important points I want to make, because I shared this information with my subscribers on the community tab, and I did get a lot of questions. The troop training time will remain the same as if you had all 4 barracks, so we're not going to be at a disadvantage. Previously, if you had all 4 of your barracks upgrading, well then you could not cook any troops. This was one of my biggest noob mistakes in Clash of Clans. That will happen no more. If you upgrade the 1 singular barracks, it will still cook up the troops, but just at 50% of the speed. A word of warning when this change comes in: you will have to take a look at your base where your barracks previously was. There will just be a gap. So if it's in the base itself, you probably want to put something else there so your opponent can't take advantage of it. But aside from that, the builder base needs to change. It is not working in its current form, and it will be changed. Let's talk about the redesign and what your ideas were before we talk about Town Hall 15. What I find interesting is the wording that Clash of Clans used. The Town Hall 15 and builder base redesign was in a previous Clash of Clans video on their YouTube channel, by the way, but the word redesign makes me think that they are going to change it completely. Now, I had Darian on my channel a little while ago asking about future updates, and he explained that the builder base is an individual aspect of the game, then multiplayer is more your social aspect, and the clan capital is now attacking together. Made sense. However, he did mention on Reddit that they are thinking about social aspects to the builder base. Do you know what I think? They don't have a clue what they want to do with the builder base, and that's partly what this video is for as well. Perhaps they will see your idea, even if you leave it in the comment of this video. But either way, they did use the word redesign, not improvements, so we can expect some pretty big changes to the core of how builder base works. There was a lot of comments when I asked about what you would like to see for a redesign of new troops. Builder Hall 10, changes to the loot system. I don't see these as a redesign. I'm talking about core mechanics that need to be changed. Builder base is not working. Now, I don't think they need to go and delete a builder base. If they did, how would they compensate players? They would obviously have to give us new resources for a new type of builder base. I don't think that's going to happen. There'd be a lot of players frustrated, but either way, something needs change. The Clash of Clans team have admitted this. I think I have some pretty good ideas, but let's go over some of yours. A Legend League system. Deepak suggests that it would be very similar to how the Legend League works. I'm actually going to say no on this one, even though I think it could be a good idea. I believe they should bring uniqueness to the builder base. It shouldn't be similar to the home village, and that's one of the reasons that I quite like that you can actually rotate troops once you get into the attack. It's unique for the builder base, and I think whatever they should do, it should be completely different to the other aspects of the game. Not that a Legend League system couldn't work, but it would just be very similar to the home village in my opinion. Some changes: wall placements individually, major battle No. Spells to the builder base. Again, I'm going to say no on this one, just because I think we need total uniqueness with the builder base. I'm saying no to a lot of things. Let's pull up a one that I think could work. The builder base league system, very similar to a gold pass. Now, this is an interesting idea. I'm going to say yes for this one. I would like to see this added, but it wouldn't be my most optimal change. I'll discuss my thoughts at the end, like I said, but this is very similar to a gold pass. It wouldn't be a purchasable gold pass. What Ian is implying is if the builder base is an individualized experience, rather than just having 1v1, give us something else to work towards. A monthly league or challenge system that you have to progress through. And perhaps, this is somewhat linking into my idea at the end, perhaps the rewards you could choose whether they were builder base or home village rewards based on whatever it is you needed. I have a maxed builder base, so even if they implemented this, I have no reason to play it. But if I could choose a rune of builder gold or a rune of regular gold, then I would complete that, do the challenges, perhaps enjoy the system if I was going to get incentives for the home village, because I think that's what most people love about the builder base is the 6th builder. So I think they could use a system like this, what Ian suggested, in order to integrate some more home village items. So a yes from me for this one. An interesting suggestion from Jared. I will preface this by saying I think the friendly challenge system in general, even in the home village, should be changed. Maybe you could put up a friendly challenge and everybody could attack it. There could be some sort of leaderboard. There's so much you could do with friendly challenges. But what is interesting about this is who cares about the 24-hour cooldown? You could use a friendly challenge system in the builder base and allow it to be instant. It's not the same as regular friendly challenges where you're trying to protect bases being copied for war, and that's why we have the 24-hour cooldown. So I think they could use some sort of friendly challenge feature in order to improve involvement in the builder base. But again, it's not really a redesign of how the builder base works and its mechanics. It's a cool feature, so I'm going to say yes to Jared. Clash King suggests a synergy boost depending on how many troops you are selecting. So if you select 2 or 3 beta minions, let's say, or army camps of beta minions, you get a boost in what that is. Now, I'm going to say no to this one because I think it could get very complicated and it would encourage mass spam style armies. But on the flip side, I think it's a really interesting topic. And one thing I would like to see is a monthly boost to set troops. This is something I'm going to talk about at the end. I would also like to see this in the home village, but I think balance is a little bit more precarious in the home village. So maybe this is something they could experiment on in the builder base. But in terms of specific troop synergies, I'm going to say no to this one. An increase to the amount of loot you gain based on the difference you have in attacking and defending. Again, I don't think this is a redesign. I think they were very specific on that wording. And whilst I do agree the loot system should be adjusted, I don't think that's a big enough change. I don't think that's what they're talking about. And on the same token, one of the frustrating parts of builder base for me is that you could 3-star someone's base and lose, and yet you could 1-star 35% someone's base and win. And it's a little bit weird to think about that. I know it's a 1v1 system, that's how it works, but it can just be very frustrating. And I don't think the loot difference would be fair, because then it becomes even more random based on who it is you're attacking. We had a suggestion on a 2v2 mode similar to Clash Royale where 2 players would be attacking at the same time, so dueling up. As cool as this would be, I don't think this is ever going to happen. I think if this was going to happen, it would have been implemented into Clan Capital. It's just not how Clash of Clans works, and I don't think we would ever see that. Again, as cool as it would be, I just don't think we would ever see 2 players attacking a base at the same time. There was a comment from Zach, though, who suggested a feature or inspiration from Clash Royale, the draft mode, and this I am going to say a huge yes to. Maybe it's a separate game mode within the builder base. It doesn't have to be strictly the only way to play, but this could be really cool. You and your opponent basically choose 3 camps each. And then for the other 3, you get given what your opponent didn't choose. I'm sure a lot of you have played the draft mode in Clash Royale. I could see that being a unique factor. It would keep it fresh. It means that it doesn't get boring. You're not stuck with the same army. Zach, I love this suggestion. A huge yes. I hope they add this. Interesting comment here by Henry Cat suggesting that it is the builder base, and yet there's not a lot of defense goes on there. So why not put a little bit more emphasis on the base building aspect of it? And thinking about that, it is an interesting point. I don't think giving people set buildings is a fun way to play. What would be fun and pulls in the base building aspect a little bit more is this suggestion from Corey, who says that we could defend in real time. Thinking about this realistically, I don't think it will be added. Clash of Clans is not like Clash Royale. It's not a PvP style game. It's very much the base is screenshotted essentially. The code is produced to the attacker, who then attacks it by himself. But this would be really cool if you could actively defend, pressing the battle machine ability, maybe even deploying your guard post troops somewhere on the map whilst the attacker is attacking you, and then it flips, you attack your opponent and they actively defend. It would be really cool. It would bring that unique mechanic to the builder base, make it more fun than it is now. And whilst I want to say yes to this, realistically, I don't think it's going to happen. Really quick though, there were some pretty cool suggestions, minor things, being able to surrender from an attack, or essentially just end the PvP once the opponent has surpassed your percentage. You don't have to sit and watch them deploy every single sneaky archer. More events, quests, maybe even some sort of single player or practice builder base mode, just like we have in the main village. Maybe even just exploring with the builder base a little bit more, giving troop abilities. So instead of strictly having the sneaky archer, you could select the type of ability you wanted to use for the archer. Essentially just give us a little bit more customization, experiment a little bit more. It's not going to break the game. It's a whole different system. The competitive esports scene is in the home village, so have a little bit more fun. The troop special abilities, yeah, I could see that as being pretty entertaining. But moving on to my thoughts, the main thing I would say, if we are not completely overhauling the builder base, is it's a little bit stale in terms of the 1v1. We need a little bit more excitement. When you win a 1v1 battle, yeah, it's cool, but I don't feel like, yes, I won the builder base PvP battle. I don't get that feeling. But if there was a tournament system and you beat 16 other players, you win, you get an epic reward, now I feel good about myself. Now I want to play the builder base. There was a couple of tournament suggestions, but not really going into too much detail, and I wouldn't like to see this as a temporary event, much like the Clan War Leagues. This should be a permanent thing. Perhaps you can still do the one PvP attack, but also a tournament system. Clash Mini, if anybody has played the beta, has a very similar thing, but I think it should be expanded upon with the builder base. There should be 16 players, single elimination. If you progress all of the way through, you get rewards. You don't have to come first to get the rewards. You do still get rewards as you go through, so it's not a waste of time if you get all the way to the final and then lose. You're still just as well off as if you had done 5 attacks, regular 1v1, but if you win, you get to choose home village rewards. Perhaps you can even do that throughout the tournament. When you get to the end, if I won and I got to select a rune of gold, or maybe there was something like the trader who had a selection of rewards that if you won a tournament you could choose from, and obviously you're going to choose the best ones, but then that is sold out until it rotates the next week and resets. That would give me the fire in my belly to attack in the builder base. It would make it exciting, and I would also be reaping rewards for my home village as well. I feel that would be good, but there's even more I would like to see changed. Do you know in the home village where we have events, let's say the Ice Baby, where we have the freeze spell and the baby dragons, they could do events like that in the builder base, but they could take it further. If anybody is an OG in Clash Royale as well, maybe 5 or 6 years ago, you used to listen listen to Radio Royale. Now, one of the episodes back then, the developers talked about how to have an interesting meta, they actually have to purposely buff some cards and nerf some others and constantly tweak the balance, because if the game is perfectly balanced all of the time, it is predictable in terms of an esports scene, but it's quite boring. It gets very much the same. There's no real reason to try other troops. You're just stuck using the same thing over and over. And I understand why, because of the Legends League, the esports, they might be a little bit more cautious of adjusting balance in the home village. Personally, I'd like to see this anyway. Once a month, we have a 10% attack buff and HP buff to this month. The Electro Dragon is chosen. Next month, maybe it is the balloons that get a huge buff. Maybe there's multiple troops and the pro players would just have to adapt to the meta as it was ever changing. But the builder base is the perfect opportunity to do that. Give us some crazy buffs in order to encourage people to use other troops. I think it would keep things a little bit fresh. Perhaps they could integrate this into some sort of monthly gold pass that was suggested by one of my subscribers earlier. Winning multiple 1v1s and tournament systems would progress you through that, just so you have a little bit more to do in the builder base. And honestly, while I would like to see those suggestions, do I think that would fix builder base for everybody? I'm not sure it would. I'm just sharing with you my opinion. I don't think it is the best suggestion out there, but it's all I could really think of. I don't think that the builder base can ever catch up to the home village. I also enjoy Clan Capital now more than the builder base, just because of the raid weekends. Outside of raid weekends, I don't think there's much to do in Clan Capital. I am sure they will expand on that, but the builder base, whilst I don't mind it as much as other players, and I'm not 100% sure what they could do. I know that the team will pull this out of the bag. They always amaze me with the quality of updates that they do add. And if you watched any of the developer interviews that were recently posted in terms of the Clash Fest event, one thing that I think it might have even been one of the Clash Royale developers said was that they don't bring updates that they know the community wants. They bring updates that the community don't know that they want. So when an update lands and the community hadn't thought of that, it's like, wow, I didn't even think of this and this is amazing. And that kind of stuck with me if I relayed that message correctly. So perhaps whatever they bring to the builder base will be something that nobody is suggesting. Who knows? Let's talk about Town Hall 15 though. It has been confirmed for 2022. There's only really 2 updates left in the year. The fall update, which typically happens within the first couple of weeks of October, and then the winter update, which typically happens in the first couple of weeks of December. We've all heard 1,000 times they've mentioned a roughly 18 months guideline in between Town Hall levels. That would actually leave us to October, since Town Hall 14 came out in the April update. And in that interview with Darian, I asked him about Town Hall 15. He didn't really give much away. Heroes was an interesting topic because everybody thinks Town Hall 7, King, Town Hall 9, Queen, 11, Warden, 13, Champion, 15... Are we getting another hero? But Darian didn't confirm or deny, and I can see why they would be thinking about it. I honestly think that's why they added the automatic hero ability with the Royal Champion, because we already had troops, spells, multiple heroes to look after, and their abilities. It was a way of simplifying the attack slightly. So I can see why they would be concerned. Personally, I would love to see a 5th hero. Even if you had to rotate them out so you could only take 4 heroes, that would mean if I upgraded a hero, I wouldn't have to worry about having a hero down in war, because I could just rotate another one in. I do understand though if you commit Dark Elixir to the heroes and then you can't use them in battle, but I think that's the same way the lab works, because you don't always attack with every single troop. So it's an interesting topic. What I will say is that I like unique mechanics to the game. So in my opinion, Town Hall 13 had way more of an impact on me than Town Hall 14. So whatever they decide to bring, I hope that it is unique and that it is revolutionary to the game. I'm more than confident that that's what the team want to deliver as well, but really, we haven't had much of an inkling as to what we could expect at Town Hall 15. Darian is very good at not giving anything away in the interviews, but I'd love to hear what you would like to see, and also those builder-based changes. That personally intrigues me more because I think it's a problem they need to fix, and how they go about that, well, I'm really not too sure. If you enjoyed this video, YouTube thinks you will enjoy this one. Give it a try. See if you do. Have a good day.